The Bible is our guide on how to live our lives successfully, including how to be good counselors and how to be empathetic. It is from the teachings of the Bible and Jesus himself that I find my identity, and it will be this identity that will center my practice as a future clinical mental health counselor. The New Testament teaches us multiple things about empathy and is rich with examples. One example from our FICIP assignment is found in Matthew, where we learn not to judge others and not to return evil for evil. Matthew teaches us in the way that we judge others is the way that we will be judged. We all desire grace for our own shortcomings, so we should give grace to others rather than judgment or any other kind of evil. We must first overlook the faults of our clients in order to give authentic empathy instead of a harsh comment. Another example from our FICIP assignment is found in Philippians, where we are told to do nothing out of selfishness, but through humility regard others as more significant than ourselves. Humility precedes empathy, because when we elevate others and our clients as more significant than ourselves, we lose our self-righteousness and our judgment. We can then offer grace, then empathy, and in this way, help them. The FICIP assignment regarding the woman at the well teaches us that some boundaries are needed to be maintained and others crossed. Jesus was aware of the cultural boundaries of interacting with a Samaritan and a woman, but there are no boundaries worth maintaining when it comes to loving others. While as counselors we are held to a standard of not sharing our beliefs, we can, like Jesus, proclaim his name without actually saying his name by demonstrating love. We can extend empathy and break stereotypes while maintaining appropriate boundaries. We can cross the boundaries of loving the unlovable and maintain boundaries of respecting differences. A couple other examples of empathy I found independently were first, the one in Galatians, where we are told to bear one another's burdens. As counselors, we have a responsibility of bearing the weight of clients' burdens, which we can do because God gives us the strength to do it. Jesus tells us in Matthew 11:29-30 to bring our burdens to him and take his yoke upon us, for we will find rest for our weary souls. So we can carry the burdens of our clients, then take those burdens to God and find rest for the extra weight. Lastly, we are commanded as God's people to have hearts of compassion, kindness, and patience. By these characteristics, we represent and honor the heart of God. If we adapt the heart of God through these attributes, I am confident empathy will flow deeply and we will help clients. Among the many stories in the Bible that demonstrate empathy, I have chosen 3 to exemplify. The first comes from the FICIP assignment of the parable of the Good Samaritan. In this story, there is a man on the side of the road in great suffering, and 2 esteemed righteous men pass him by. But the one who stops is the one who is seen as insignificant and of low position, and probably did not have many resources. But he stops and tends to the man, and even pays for his expenses. This is a great example of empathy, because although this man did not have many resources, he took what he had and gave it to someone less fortunate. It is a real demonstration of having compassion on someone. In my opinion, one of the greatest examples of empathy is found in Job. Job suffers a great loss so unimaginable there are no words to cover his losses. So his friends come to Job, they sit with him, feel his pain, and cry with him. They do not offer words, for they know there are none, but they offer comfort by their presence. There are situations that people experience that we just cannot understand or relate to, and attempting to do so is invalidating and hurtful. Sometimes the best thing to do is nothing and just be there. Another example represents both empathy and judgment. It is the parable of the ungrateful servant. In this story, a servant owes an enormous debt to a king, one so great it'll take a lifetime to pay back. So the servant goes to the king and begs for mercy, and the king forgives his debt because he was moved by compassion for him. Immediately, the servant encounters a fellow servant who owes a debt, a small debt. His fellow servant begs for mercy, but the other servant has him thrown in prison. The servant fails to pay forward the compassion that was given to him, and he is found out and thrown in jail himself. As counselors, we need to remain aware of the debts we have been forgiven, the compassion given to us that we did not deserve. So then we can give empathy to those even if they don't deserve it. Let's examine more closely another powerful event in the Bible and break it down to see all aspects of empathetic care. The best example of showing compassion is from Jesus himself, and it is well represented in the story of the woman caught in adultery. This woman was found to have committed adultery, and as was the law, she was to be stoned to death. But the Pharisees asked Jesus how the case should be handled. Jesus first bent down and met this woman right where she was, and spoke intimately to her, words the Bible does not even record. It says the people kept nagging Jesus on what to do, but for a while he ignored them, and he kept all his attention on the woman and what he was writing to her. Then, when he did speak, he did not judge her, but he defended her and said, "Let any one of you who is without sin cast the first stone at her." Jesus then returned to his conversation with her. It says the people walked away one by one, but Jesus stayed with this woman through her entire struggle and did not leave her alone. Once alone, Jesus did not give the woman advice, but guided her to find her own solutions through questions. Jesus asks her, "Where are your accusers? Has no one condemned you?" The woman responds, "No one, sir," thus justifying herself that she is not condemned despite her actions. Only then does Jesus instruct her on how to live her life, telling her to now leave her life of sin. This example teaches us, as counselors, we are to meet people where they are, speak intimately and kindly to them, be attentive, to not judge but give what is needed for the occasion, commit to them through their entire struggle, guide them to find their own solutions, and give advice last. Personally, my faith directly impacts my level of empathy. First and foremost, being empathetic is a gift God has given me. God has granted me the natural ability to feel with others and feel deeply and clearly, which compels me to help. Without this gift from God, I may have very little empathy on my own. My faith also increases my love for others because I understand the power of love and how it has transformed me. It is a gift I want to share with others. However, I am not perfect, and there are people and situations that are difficult for me, especially when someone hurts the people I love. It is in these moments that my faith defines my empathy, and I have to draw on spiritual truths to move past anger. The number one truth I turn to is being humble. I always tell myself that I am no better of a person. I am no more deserving of grace. We all fall short of God's glorious standard, and we all need Jesus. It is his undeserving grace and love that has saved me, and this is what will save others. My faith also increases my ability to be kind. As we grow in our relationship with God, he transforms us into his image. My faith allows me to be gentler and kind towards others, because God is kind. Plus, the Bible tells us in Romans 12:20 that when we repay evil with kindness, we heap burning coals on their heads. So kindness is the best revenge. In short, without my faith, I would be nothing, for I am nothing without God. Aside from biblical principles, God has further blessed us with understanding empathy scientifically. Neuroscience provides scientific illumination to empathy. One of the most powerful examples are mirror neurons, found in the mirror neuron system, or MNS. The MNS provide the neural mechanism by which we can understand each other's emotions. through connections with the amygdala via the anterior insula. An action is associated with an emotional representation. This is how we can laugh with those who laugh and weep with those who weep. When we see weeping or laughing, it activates the same neural circuitry as when I myself am weeping or laughing. Thus, we mirror the other's feelings. This is well explained by Christian in his presentation on mirror neurons. Christian shares this photograph of a weeping boy and explains how we are moved by the image through mirror neurons. He reveals that we recruit our own emotions each time we see emotions in another. And in instances of pain, it is a very robust reaction. He shares that we process images of emotion visually. Then it becomes a representation of our own emotions, as if we are actually experiencing them ourselves. As Christian states, it is this deep connection that can compel us to change the world, because we don't just see others' pain, we feel it. Dr. Leaf explains mirror neurons this way. We are entangled in each other's lives. Empathy is the wonderful God-given ability to identify with and vicariously understand the internal experiences of another person. We have been hardwired to experience powerful compassion for others. We all wield a power so great in us, a power that can change the world. No matter where we are or who we feel we are, we all behold the power of love. As hurt prevails in this world from broken families, poverty, abuse, depression, and loneliness, let us not forget the power of pausing for a moment and showing love. An ounce of love, a kind smile, an affirming word can transform a person's day. God created us with the ability to connect with others and commands us to love, and has given us the means through various brain structures to actually feel and experience what others feel and experience. Let us not waste this power, for it is a miracle, and it is how we can change the world. As medical director Judith Orloff states, empathy is the medicine the world needs. Thank you.